Hey everyone, Kevin here with Divinely Design, and I have a crafty video today. Over on Stamp Nation, where I hang out for card making and crafty things, we are doing a class in stenciling, and the latest class was on using stencils with Gelli plates. I don't have a Gelli plate. I actually went out looking for one today. I went to Michael's, Joanne Crafts, and AC Moore. Couldn't find them. I know you can make your own Gelli plates, so that's what I'm going to do today. There are a bunch of videos out there. If you search for them, I'm sure you can find them. Probably one of the original ones is from Lindsay at the Frugal Crafter, and I will have a link to her video down below. The basic recipe that she goes over there is a half a cup of, a half a cup of water, a half a cup of glycerine, 1.5 cups of water, 1.5 cups of glycerin, and 7 packs of gelatin. Now I picked this up at Walmart today, but this is a big box. It has 32 envelopes and it was just under $10. But you can get them in packs of 4 for about $1.75. So you would need 2 of those 4 packs. The glycerin is what is the expensive thing here. Now I went out and priced this at CVS, and this was about $6.50 for 6 ounces. So you would need 2 bottles of this. But I know you can get this for much less online, and you might be able to find it cheaper at different like health food stores or something. But because I also make soap, I have vegetable glycerin. I got this this is 16 ounces of it from a company called Nature's Garden, and I got this for like under $2.50. So I know you can get it much cheaper, but if, you know, I'm being impatient, I wanted one, I want to make one. I didn't want to wait to mail order anything. The Gelli plates themselves for a small one, either like 5x7 or 6x6, goes for about somewhere in the $15 to $20 range, and larger ones can be upwards of $50 or $60. So if you make your own, it's definitely a cost savings. To make the normal recipe of 1.5 cups of water, 1.5 cups of glycerin, and 7 packets of gelatin, even if you're paying a lot for it, it will come out to be about $16.50. And that will give you a very big plate, not a really tiny one. I will list the basic recipe down below, but you know me, I like to sort of experiment. So I'm going to change the recipe up. I've watched a bunch of videos and read a bunch of blogs on the DIY Gelli plates. The thing with using the glycerin is it will make it, you don't need to preserve it. You don't need to put it in the refrigerator. It will keep it mold free. It just helps with it. But one of the things I have read is that they are a little bit flimsy, depending on how thick you make them. I'm going to do a double batch, and I'm going to use a sheet pan, a cookie sheet pan, which I have over here. So, and it's pretty big, and I'm going to make it kind of, hopefully at least, 3/4 of an inch thick or so. This is way bigger than I would ever need, but I'll plan to probably cut it in half and have 2 really nice sized Gelli plates out of this. So my recipe, what I intend to do is, I'm doubling it, so I'm using 14 packs of gelatin. Now I've already added some cold water here. I've added 1.25 cups so far of cold water, and to let the gelatin bloom, and I've just been letting it sit to sort of let the gelatin sort of soak up that moisture. Okay, but the recipe I'm going to use is 1.5 cups, 1.25 cups of cold water, 1 3/4 cups of hot water, which I have back here. It's just taken out of the microwave. It's really close to boiling. I'm adding 1/4 cup of alcohol, and I'm hoping that will add to the clarity and some of the dissolving. 2 3/4 cups of the glycerin, so I've cut down just a tiny bit on the glycerin, and I'm adding 1/4 cup of clear glue, and I'm hoping this will help with the toughness, okay? And I'll include my recipe down below as well. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do first is I'm going to add the hot water in here and then the glue so I can sort of get that dissolving. So let me add a 1/4 cup of this clear glue. And I'm just using kind of an old bowl, although these are I like these measuring cups though, so I hope I don't destroy them. Okay, and then I'm going to add the the 1 3/4 of a cup of hot water. I'm going to use this to hopefully rinse out some of this glue. So that's 3/4. And 1 cup. Okay, 1 3/4. And then I'm going to add the gelatin that I have in here. If you've never used unflavored gelatin before, do remember to use the cold water first to bloom it. And it surprisingly stinks. It is not the most pleasant smelling thing to work with. All right, I'm just trying to. I had a lot of gelatin in that container. I probably should have used more cold water to bloom some of that. I've got some lumps in here, so I'm just going to stir. I may throw this back in the microwave to heat it back up here. They're getting there. All right, I think I'm going to put this in the microwave just to heat it up. Just to heat it up a little bit more. So I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. I put it in just for 2 minutes and stirred it up. It seems to be mostly dissolved. I have 1 or 2 little lumps of the gelatin, I think, that just aren't going to dissolve because they didn't bloom very well. Maybe they will as I continue to stir here, but I think what I'm going to do is I took out a strainer and I'm going to strain it as I pour. That way, in case there is a little bit of lump in there, I'll be okay to go. All right, so I'm going to add a 1/4 cup of the alcohol. Give that a stir. And then I'm going to add my glycerin, which I have kind of in multiple cups. Now, you should be able to remelt this if things go awry, and sort of use it over again. But the glycerin is what acts as a plasticizer. So you shouldn't need any kind of preserving. You shouldn't need to refrigerate it. As long as you sort of keep it out, covered in a clean place, it should last for a while. I'm hoping the addition of the glue sort of gives it a little bit more firmness. And I'm hoping the alcohol adds a little bit to the clarity. Not that you need a clear Gelli plate. You could certainly have them colored, actually. But, I don't know, I think a clear Gelli plate seems better to me. Okay, that seems great. Let me move over my This is a pretty decent size tin. Let's see if I can get this in the shot a little bit better. Okay. All right. So and then I have a strainer. I'm just going to pour it through the strainer here. Now, obviously, you want to use something with a nice, flat, even surface, so you get a nice, flat printing side. Okay, I'm glad I used the strainer. There are a few little tiny bits in there. And then I think the one thing also I will suggest is taking some of the alcohol in a spray bottle and then spritzing the top, which should help with clearing up any bubbles that you have. I'm getting a little bit of, it looks like, foam on the top here. Spritz. That looks okay. There's a tiny bit of cloudiness, and then over in this little corner I still have a little bit of foam, but for the most part it looks pretty darn good. So this is going to go in the fridge and sit overnight, and then in the morning we'll unmold. Okay, so stick around. Okay everyone, here we are the next morning. I just took it out of the fridge, and I took a knife and I just sort of went around the edge to sort of release it from the pan. Now, it's really cold right now because it's just out of the fridge, but it feels very firm, but with a little give. So I think that's perfect. It doesn't, I don't know, I don't want to say it feels sticky, because it's not sticky. Maybe it's just sort of damp from being cold right now. The surface does have a little bit of a tack to it. But this is a beautiful, like, glossy, smooth, glass-like surface. So that's gorgeous. Now, I will say when I put it in the fridge, I think my pan tilted just a tiny bit this way because this end is much thicker than this end over here, which is fairly thin. But I was sort of planning to cut it in half anyway because it's so big. So I think I'm just going to divide it kind of right down the middle. Now, the thicker side ended up being the one with a little bit of foam in the corner. I don't know if you can see, there's a little bit more sort of imperfections on this side. But let me pull it out here, if I can. And I have another cutting board here that's clear that I'm going to try to put it on. Okay, that's it. I think that came out pretty darn great. It's not super thick, as you can see there, because I poured such a large cookie sheet. But it's definitely like squishable. So, alright, I'm going to have to take this to my craft room. I'm going to let it come to room temperature, because right now it's really cold. And then I'll take it in my craft room and we'll try it out in a little bit. Okay, stay tuned. Okay everyone, here we are in my craft room, and I have my Gelli plates on this old cutting board. I have a brayer and some paper to wipe my brayer off on. I've got a spray bottle with some water and a a wipe. I've got a bunch of acrylic paints and a bunch of stencils, and I'm using some Canson mixed media paper, 98 pound for some of this, and I've never ever done this, so I'm excited to try some of this. So I'm going to use this stencil from Plaid Folk Art, which is kind of this diamond-y kind of pattern. Okay, well that worked pretty well. Let's see how it cleans up a little bit. Oh, it cleans up great. Now I've heard with some of these homemade plates, you can't really run them under water to clean them up, and you really just have to use a spray bottle. Okay, let's try another one. This is a stencil from the Crafter's Workshop, and it's kind of like trees. So let's do some dark green. Alright, I think I'll film one more here, and then I'm just going to play for a little while, but this seems to have worked out really great, this sort of DIY gel plate. Let me, let's see, let's try some nice red. Alright, this seems like a very messy, in a good way, kind of project. Wow, look at that. It looks like those layers are coming up, like as you do more and more prints, you're getting some of the other layers that were sort of deeper down there. That's really very cool. So, okay, so this DIY jelly plate worked really well. I'm going to continue to play, and then I think probably at the end of this video, I'll have a couple of pictures of some cards that I've done using my jelly plate today. So, okay, so thanks for watching. Comments, questions, leave them down below. If you are not subscribed to my channel, click on that subscribe button. If you like this video, click that thumbs up button. And that's it here. Check back for more soapy and crafty videos at Divinely Design. Thanks, everybody. Stay tuned for a couple of pictures of some cards.